Hey guys, welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Joe Organa.
And I'm Ian Carlos Crawford, and joining us today, we have two special guests. First up, we have writer, media analyst, and co-host of the teen girl movie podcast, This Ends at Prom.
Hi, I'm BJ Coangelo.
Hi, BJ. I don't know if I've told you this, but that is such a good name for a podcast. Like, I really love. That sounds like a horror movie I would love.
Oh, thank you. I do have to give credit where credit is due. Michael Verratti is the one who came up with that. Also, podcaster, media analyst, wonderful friend.
Yeah, he's on all the time. I love him.
Yeah.
Michael Verratti's one of those people that, like, everyone knows him, I feel like.
Yeah.
And he is coming to us from Germany, U.S. Olympic speed skater.
Conor McDermott-Mostowy.
Hi, Connor. Thank you for doing
Connor.
this. You have quite the busy schedule, so I really appreciate you. We were emailing a lot back and forth, and I was like, oh, he's going to get so annoyed with me having to schedule this, and you were very patient, and I appreciate it.
That's all good.
So before we get into the episode, we're here to talk episode 3. This episode kind of is a standout because we focus on different characters, whatever. So I'll be curious how this discussion is versus the other ones. But before we get into it, Connor, do you want to tell us how you got into the show, or like what hooked you?
Or I feel like I kind of just got into the show. I mean, obviously, because it started to just blow up on social media. I'm so rarely a part of like a cultural discussion. I'm always the last person to the party. So I was like, this one, I'm gonna be on. I'm like, it's like gay sports. Like, I'm like, this is up my alley. I can get into this.
That makes sense. Did you watch from the beginning?
I think I was like 1 or 2 episodes behind, but once it started really taking off, I was like, all right,
yeah,
I'll hop on this train as quickly as I can.
And BJ, I think I know your answer, because I think I do, but what caught you? What like got you into it?
Oh, so this show is a perfect intersection of so many things that I love. I watch absolutely anything gay because I am a big ol' lesbian. I am a big hockey fan. I've been a hockey fan my entire life. And I am also a massive fan of Jacob Tierney because I love shows like Letterkenny and Shoresy. So when I realized that all of those interests were sort of converging onto each other, I knew that I had to watch it. I watched the premiere 2 episodes and then immediately got all of Rachel Reed's books and read all of them in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
I told Joe I've been listening to book 2. That's like the book the show is based on. And I first turned it on. I'm driving to go teach. It's 7 a.m. And I'm like, oh, they keep saying cock. Oh my God. Am I allowed to be listening to this?
Yeah, the audiobooks are a different beast because you're listening to this really intense sexual situation sometimes. And I feel like most of the people listen to audiobooks, not in bed alone at night. It's usually in an office situation or maybe in the drive. And that's okay, Ian. You're okay as long as you get yourself under control when you walk through those doors. Hey, buddy.
I'm all red. I'm like,
keep it in the car.
Give me a second. So we're going to talk episode 3. I'm curious everyone's thoughts, because I do feel like this was the episode for even people that like loved the show and were fully locked in. Were like, some people were like, I didn't love it. I still love it. I think it works, especially once you finish. It works so well. Connor, what'd you think of this episode overall?
It was actually just the opposite. The first 2 episodes, I enjoyed. Like, they're really hot. But I was like, all right, this is going to be like a funny or fun, frivolous show, but that's like light on plot, because I never read the books. And I was like, okay, it's just gonna be like a hot show. Like, I get it, but I'm like, it's not like a great show. And then the episode 3 was such a right turn that I was like, okay, there's some plot here, there's character development. And it made me really excited for the rest of the series. So I was like, I want more episodes like episode 3.
Yeah. I remember talking about it with my friend after it. He was like, I don't know. I wanted to see more of Ilya and Shane, which I do get, but I don't know. Like, I think of like Stephen King always has detours in his books. Like, there's always like I think it's The Shining, where it's like we get a whole really long paragraph about the shrubs. And like, I don't know, I think that's like kind of common in like literature, in Nope, when we get the detour of the ranch and like
Hmm.
Stephen Yeun, like his growing up as a child star. I like that stuff as long as it works with the story. BJ, what'd you think?
I love a standalone episode. One of my favorite episodes of TV of all time is A Dark Quiet Death from Mythic Quest, which is, I think, kind of the pinnacle of standalone episodes. So I was very excited for this, also because I love Francois Arnaud. He is such a like weirdo actor and does so many unique projects. So getting to see him in the spotlight was very exciting to me. But I love episodes like this because then you get to spend the rest of the season trying to find the little ways in which it impacts everything else in the series. So it
That's
becomes
fair.
this very important puzzle piece to really put the entire picture together. So I was all about this, even though I will say I think Game Changer is my least favorite book in the
Oh
series.
yeah.
And I think it's just because you can see there's not as much confidence in Rachel Reed's voice in this story, and obviously she writes Shane and Ilya, and then it's like, oh, there it is, like that's the
Mhm.
magic. And from that moment forward, I even think that Scott and Kip are better characters when they make their little appearances throughout the rest of the series. But yeah, I loved this episode.
Joe?
Yeah, no, I also love this episode. I mean, I think I spoke to you when we were recording maybe the last episode where I said episode 3 is probably the one I rewatched the least, but I think it's because I'm not going. First of all, I'm rewatching the whole season through and through. But like, if I'm going back to rewatch a specific episode, it's probably not 3. But 3 is so great because it feels like an encapsulation of a whole season. We're getting like that long drawn out story of Shane and Ilya, but we're getting it in a bite sized portion, which is nice. But it's also the thing that I think keeps me from rewatching it, because the thing I love so much about Shane and Ilya's story is like the longing and the emotional like edging, to use a word, that it like keeps me wanting another episode, and the fact that the show was released week by week was great because it truly got people longing even more.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't get to binge it, because I would have binged it in as quickly as I possibly could have, because it was so amazing. But this episode is great, and the fact that it one is very important to Shane and Ilya's story, because it brings them to another level in a time where their relationship seemed a little stuck for them, frustratingly so for them. But also, it ended on a sad note, which was great, because I think if it had ended on a happy note, I would have liked it less.
Yes.
I liked that it felt unfinished. I liked that their story wasn't over, because really their story keeps going. We see an ending in episode 5, or a nice ribbon on that
Yeah.
storyline in episode 5, and I really hope we get to see more of it. I would love to I don't know, I don't know how they could go back and tell more of that timeline, because I know that this story like took years. Like, it wasn't like, it felt like a week in our time for us, but for them it was like a years, I think. So it would be great to go back and see that. I don't know how they could possibly do it, but I love Scott and Kip, and they're so hot, and I would watch them back and over again if they
Yes.
wanted me to. I'll pull up a chair, whatever.
Get out the cuck chair for you.
Yeah, happy. I'll bring refreshments, whatever they want.
Like, I
Hasn't
got
eaten anything?
popcorn, I got snacks. I think, but this one isn't that long of a timeline, right? This episode, isn't it just like the same year?
I think this episode, they don't really tell you. So it was like, what, 4 months earlier between him at the Olympics and him meeting Kip. But they don't really tell you. I think if we go back and we count the time jumps in Ilya and Shane's story, we could probably get an estimation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the book, it's like over some time.
Okay.
Yeah, over the book, it's definitely extended. I think for the show, my algorithms are nothing but Heated Rivalry at this point, and I think somebody figured out that in the show canon, this episode covers like 7 months, I think.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That's an understandable amount of time for a situationship. I've had them for much longer.
Yeah, are you kidding? I've had situationships for like years.
Yeah.
And Joe, I actually do that. I was going to make that point, but I really kind of like that it ends with a not so happy. It's not like a miserable ending, but it's not a cutesy happy ending. And when the episode aired, I kind of liked that about it because I took it as it's teaching us what could go wrong with Shane and Ilya. Not thinking it was setting up for like these will be the framework for like Shane and Ilya becoming more like public. I took it as just like a cautionary tale almost. Like, look, this is what happens if you refuse to do that. To like, I don't know. I would also go insane if I were Kip. If I were Kip in this situation, I would have lost my mind. No,
knowing you, Ian, Ian is a very emotionally open person, and he can't. I don't think he got upset. I think the other day when I liked his text message to me instead of typing out an emotional response.
Text.
It wasn't, so I liked it. What do you want me to? So I think
that's perfectly okay.
Thank you, Connor. See, okay.
BJ,
we're seeing.
Are you on?
I'm on Ian's side. My wife is like the worst at texting, and I'll send her something like long, and she'll just go, "Okay, period." And I'm like, "Girl, you gotta stop doing that. Like that is not what a period means after okay."
But the episode opens. We get Vaughn and Scott. They're meeting Shane. I kind of like it being like, you already saw this scene, but look who also was like thinking deep thoughts during the scene and almost having gay panic. I don't know. I really like that. I like the Wolf Parade needle drop when he's running because I liked that song already, and this made me love it even more. Like I say this all the time, and BJ, I feel like you might be the same. Like indie sleaze circa 2010, 2008 was like my shit. Like my music taste stopped evolving then.
And like, Canadian indie sleaze in particular, like the combination of like Wolf Parade and like Purity Ring, like we're good.
Yep. And like that's shit I still listen to. So it made me really happy to hear that. I was like, oh, I like this song. I remember this is one of those like bands that a guy that I was hooking up with really liked, and I started liking them. And I remember telling my roommate, I think you might like this band, and him being like, yeah, I already like this band. I was like, oh, okay. So it was nice to hear them again. It's nice to have a different context for a song that I like. What is everyone, Connor in particular? I saw an interview with Francois Arnaud where he was saying that people thought he was running like Phoebe Buffet from Friends, like he was like running weird. I don't know. I think it's a regular run, but I'm not an athlete, so I figured to defer to the athlete.
I don't know. I feel like it was a kind of a weird run.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
I feel like there's been several running scenes in the show where people are running weird. I don't know if it's like a product of having to film. And like there's some constraint on how you can like run, or if that's how they actually run. But I also don't see a video of like myself running very often, so maybe I would be like horrified if I saw that. But
you're like, crap.
That's exactly how I felt. I was like, do I run weird? Because Shane runs weird in his scene. That one, I felt like Connor looked pretty normal. Connor's story looked pretty normal running, and then but Scott Hunter, he looked weird. I'm sorry, he looked exactly like Phoebe Buffet. When I heard that, I mean, rewatching this episode, I was like, yeah, he does. He runs exactly like Phoebe Buffet in that one episode. It's very weird, but like whatever. I was also looking at his basically see-through shirt, skin tight, wet with sweat. I was like, okay, I don't care how he runs. It doesn't. He could murder my family. I'd be fine with it, I think, at this point.
BJ, where do you land on the running?
I am not allowed to judge anyone's running skills because I think the last time I ran and it wasn't for my life was like high school. So I'm just gonna keep that to myself.
There.
Like I'm excluding myself from this narrative.
Even when I was an athlete, I did not run.
So I was gonna say, didn't you tell me, was it a cheerleader or?
I am a retired world champion baton twirler.
Baton twirler, that's it. I love that.
Yeah, and I did have a little heated rivalry relationship. I made a video about this, but I had to delete it because people immediately tried to track her down because no one can be chill about anything. But I definitely, while closeted, had a little thing with one of my main competitors from a competitive corps for many years.
I love that.
But now it's a good luck babe situation. I'm very happy, and she's lying.
This has been brought up before by Ian on the show, but I also had similar situations. I don't know. I think being queer and playing sports. Maybe these things happen or more often than not. In our first episode, we talked about this, and Ian was like, on this, put me on the spot. He's like, "Didn't you have something similar like this happen in Catholic school?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess." Wasn't expecting to ever talk about this ever in my life, but let alone on
You
camera.
talked about it in our promo. That's why I knew. We recorded you talking about it.
Yeah, but okay, no, it's fine. But you know what? I hope them and their wives are happy. It's a beautiful thing.
Connor?
I don't know. I feel like everyone's always known I'm gay, so like I never had a heated rivalry moment in my career, unfortunately. I think the like the romanticism of it sounds better than the reality, probably, but
I think when you're a teenager, it's fun because it's just like you can romanticize it. You romanticize everything in your life when you're a teenager anyway. But I think as an adult, it's probably just more frustrating than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really want to talk to about like a hockey player I know who I haven't gotten to talk to her very much about this yet, but I plan to when we're in Milan.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard that she was like relating to this show so much. It was like, this is my life. So I'm excited to hear her thoughts on it. I don't want to put her on the spot on the podcast.
I'll ask you after so I can ask her on the podcast. I mean, all of the relationships, I don't know. You are right. The romanticizing of it is better than the actual, because I've dated men in the closet and I don't think I ever could again now as an adult. I think about that a lot. Like, that's why I think if I were Kip, I would have lost my mind. The like, you can't even go to an art gallery. Like, give me a break. This is not for me.
Yeah.
Eventually having sex with a hot person, yeah, it's great, but like, what else are we doing? Do something different.
Oh, yeah. I unfortunately have a lot of experience with this, with a combination of women who are closeted, women who are very uncomfortable with the fact that I'm fat. Fat women are very often kept as secrets. And, you know, then when I started dating my wife, for listeners who don't know, my wife is a trans woman who transitioned in 2009. So she's always been trans. She's never not been trans since I've known her. And I had to like fully blow up my entire life and go very public with her, because the unfortunate reality is that when you are a gay person with a trans partner, there are a lot of people who are very cool with half of that sentence and very not cool with the other half.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. I like very briefly dated a trans guy, and he was like weird. It's funny. He was weird about me because he had never dated a guy before. And he was like, and like eventually that weirdness like imploded everything. Cause it was like, I just, you know, and I understood that like transness is very different than like my queerness, but I just like, it wasn't working for me. Like, it wasn't working that we had to like go home and like, you know, in public, we couldn't do anything, or like he felt weird about it. And eventually it just like imploded. I think about that a lot. We romanticize that. And like a friend of mine recently said to me, cause I was like, oh, I spent my 20s like hooking up with straight guys. And he was like, I think you just sniffed out closeted bi guys is what you were doing. He was like, that is your superpower. And I was like, all right, I'll accept that. I like that. And I like the like reframing of that.
Well, I think, you know, queerness is a spectrum, and there's probably a lot of men who identify as straight who could, if they were found themselves more comfortable with themselves, identify as bisexual if they were, you know, open to exploring that side of them. And that probably has a lot to do with like the guys I hooked up with in high school, and, you know, and maybe some of the women you hooked up with, you know, as well, BJ. Like, you know, a lot of people feel uncomfortable, especially men, because of misogyny. Like, men have to be masculine, or else they immediately are ostracized for being, you know, gay, so they don't feel that freedom to explore sexuality, to explore themselves. And, you know, that's sad. And there would be a lot more bi people in the world if we just let people explore themselves more.
This is vaguely relevant, but I just need to add this in. A thing I think about with that all the time is, I forget who, I don't know if it was Jimmy Kimmel, whatever late night used to do, like celebrities read mean tweets about themselves. And I think of this a lot because my mom loved this, because my mom, you know, loved Sofia Vergara. It was like a pretty Latin woman who became famous. So of course my mom knew everything about her, loved her. And my mom being like, oh, she was on this and she read someone posted on the internet mean about her, and I loved what she said. And I found it and being like, oh my God, my mom loved this. And it's her reading a tweet that says, Sofia Vergara talks like she has a dick in her mouth. And then Sofia Vergara looks up at the screen and says, "And so what?" And like I think about that a lot when people get like sex shame. Not even like when they're being shamed, but when they feel weird, it's like, okay, like who cares? Like you put something in your butt, you had something in your mouth, who cares? Like everyone does that.
I literally go by BJ. Like that is my name. Like Patreon flags my name as inappropriate.
Jesus. So we get our meet cute. I think this is a really good meet cute. Sometimes when I'm stoned and I rewatch a thing, my brain goes to, is this good? I have now rewatched this twice while stoned, and every time I'm like, this is really good. So it's like a credit to the acting that my brain doesn't turn on, because normally it could be something I love, and it still goes to, is this good? And now it's, no, this is good. And I'm not a big rom-com person. BJ, Connor, I'm curious, are either of you like big on romance?
I'm really not.
I'm not
like
either. No hate. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
find it corny.
I have an interest in, like, I love a really bad romance. I'm talking like Hallmark Christmas movie where it's just plug and chug, high powered executive Christmas tree farmer. Is it good? No. Am I excited and like feeling all the feels for it? No. It's because I associate it with watching movies with my mother, and that's what brings me joy.
That's sweet.
That's fair.
But I do love this meet cute for two reasons. One, because the way that Robbie GK sits when he's supposed to be sleeping is so funny because he's clearly like too buff for this chair. And it makes me very happy. And also, that is the shittiest movie I've ever seen in my life. If you can find love after somebody gives you that watered down monstrosity, love is real.
That's so real. I just like this meet cute because like I used to be a barista. It was like right when I was coming out, kind of, or I just moved to like a new city. And so I was like, I don't know, I feel like part of the reason I like this episode so much in general is like there's so many like relatable moments that are more relatable to me than like the secret high sex romance of like Ilya and Shane.
Yeah.
And so like I definitely like relate to a lot more in this episode and their dynamics. And yeah, it just kind of throws me back to like being a barista and being 18 years old and like flirting with really hot people coming in.
I love that you are a like literal like Olympic athlete, and you're like, no, I relate to the barista.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, no, I get that though. I always think like my jobs like that are the ones that like almost stick in my brain more, because after we get this meet cute, we meet Maria. And I feel like those relationships always feel so real when you're like your work wife, your work husband, you're like your work BFF. Like those are always such real relationships. And I like that we touch upon it here. And she's a friend, but she's not his best friend, right? Elena's his best friend. But when they're working together, they like get each other and they are like best friends. And that, I feel like those are the friends I usually end up keeping, not my friends I made in like an office job or whatever. I think all the time of like working at Barnes and Noble, and my boyfriend at the time was the like head barista in the cafe, and like I would go over and see him and sometimes help him, and I was a terrible barista.
Working service industry is like going to war, though. You truly trauma bond with your coworkers.
Yes.
Like that's the harder job. I've worked both service and corporate, and at the same time, actually, I worked for many years. Both my corporate 9 to 5, and then at night I worked as a server in a bar. Ooh. And it was brutal. You go through things that you wouldn't go through in a corporate space. Like, yeah, a man bumped into me while I was carrying a tray of hot whatever, and it spilled all over my face, ran down my body, scalding my face. And the man turned around. He had one small drop on his shirt, and he says, "This is a brand new shirt," screaming at me. Meanwhile, I have hot marinara in my eye. It's just like, those things you don't experience those things in corporate. And like, you need your Maria there to say, girl, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. One of my longest friendships was forged because we both were screaming in the walk-in freezer at the same time.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
That's
that
so
was
real.
at Barnes and Noble, that was a thing. Like, even if you weren't a barista and you needed to go scream in the freezer, you'd be like, I'm just gonna go scream in the freezer real quick and like go to the walk-in freezer. Spoiler alert, at the end of this episode, we have an interview with Bianca Nugara, who plays Maria, and she said that she like got those friendships, but also it was not hard to be like, these are two hot people and I just get to watch them be hot together. We cut to the bar. We meet Kip's friend group, which I do think we do a lot with a little here, right? Because I feel like this feels like a super tight, supportive friend group. They all like call him on his bullshit. They know, they like get it even when he's trying to lie to them. And I really like that. I don't think anyone comes off as an asshole, but they're just kind of like, yeah, right. We know what's going on. I appreciate that because I think in a lot of shows, the friends are kind of, can often, especially if they're like such minor roles, they're just like there. But this feels like a tight unit of a friend group, which, BJ, you are an expert on, teen and like stuff like that. And they're like early 20s. It reminds me of something that we would have seen on like Buffy or something like that, where it's like the friend group is like the little family. And I really like that. I don't know if you agree.
Oh, yeah. I love the fact that they are immediately giving each other shit and they already have their own little bits. Like, thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
It tells me everything I need to know about their friend group. This is a long-standing friend group. They are comfortable enough to call each other on their bullshit, which is how you know that they have put in some years together.
Yeah, Connor, what do you think about the friend group?
Yeah, I was gonna say I love the friend group as well, and they feel so like authentic. I feel like most of my friend groups are formed from skating, but like I feel like half of what we do is just give each other shit. Like that's like the basis of half of my friends. So yeah, just like they've worked with a lot in very little time.
Yeah, and we were saying that to Bianca, how like it is pretty impressive. They do a lot with that. And like, yeah, it's a minor role, but we remember these roles. Like they make them so we remember them. And yeah, BJ, the thank you, Kyle, I think is so good. And then I love that later when Elena walks in, hers is fuck you, Kyle. Like that also.
Oh, it's perfect. Like her establishment. I love Elena. I would die for her. But I love that that's how they establish her because then you immediately know like that is your true best friend. The one who can say fuck you to your face. That's the real one.
You are right. That does like put her like, where she sits in the friend pyramid. Yeah. So we get more of Scott stopping in for smoothies. I love we get the newspaper and Kip's like, he scored a hat trick. And Maria's like, are you asking me what that means or telling me something I already know? Because we watched the game together. The Scott and Kip, like, of it all, and them making sure they say each other's names. And then the cut to Maria of, this is awesome. Because it is just like, oh, these are two hot guys, and I get to watch them, like, flirt, sure.
Yeah, Kip is stronger than me for continuing to think Scott is straight because I wouldn't have even cared if that man was like, talking to me and flirting with me. I would have jumped over the counter and said, what are we? What are we doing? Where are we going? I'll leave. I don't. So for him to continually think this man who is very like not even like lightly flirting with him, it's pretty heavy, hot and heavy flirting. For him to continue to fight that reality is a choice.
I'm one of those people though, where I'm like, am I making this up? Is the flirting made? Is it in my head? Because
it could be the hottest. He could be the straightest hot man, and if he even was nice to me for half a second, I would be like, oh, he loves me. He's so into me. You guys saw that?
I don't know. I'm so that guy that's like, oh, they were just like being like jokey flirty. That's all that is. Like I go to that all the time. But like I said, in my 20s, I spent a lot of time hooking up with straight guys. And so I'm always like, oh, they're probably just flirting to be like for fun.
Hooking up with straight guys is so funny. That's such a funny thing to say. Like he was like, no, he's like, they're dicks in my mouth, but they're still straight. They're just straight guys that I'm flirting
I'm
with.
hetero flexible.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I didn't say it was good or healthy. Connor, I'm sorry you're on the podcast that maybe you didn't realize you were going to be on.
Sorry, Connor.
No, it's all good. This is way more fun than all like formal interviews and stuff. I did love the hat trick like comment because I'm like, it's also so relatable when you just like start like if you're maybe not even really seeing them yet, but you like start getting interested in somebody and you just like jump in and try to learn whatever they're interested in. Like there was someone in college who I was like kind of seeing for a minute, who played tennis, and despite being like an actual professional athlete, I really don't follow athletics at all. I was like trying really hard to learn tennis in like 5 days. So I'm like, I'm gonna need to know this. And now I don't remember anything because it was just about that moment.
Yeah.
I love that.
Real.
I've definitely,
very real.
because I'm, as you can see, a big nerd, I've definitely dated guys who like aren't into nerd culture and then try to like very much lean in and get into it. Usually they feel overwhelmed and do not, or like Buffy's my main thing, so they'll just like pick Buffy and it's like, great, I'll watch that. I can do that. 7 seasons of a show, great, I'll do that. Because anyone who's ever dated me has had to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Commitment.
It's part of dating me, for better or worse. But yes, and I like that Maria is like, she knows what this is, and their dude, girl, was that? Yes, it fucking was. Is so like such good close friend communication where you're not even finishing these words, but we know what we're saying. And that's like shit I love. I love that kind of stuff. We get Elena's first scene, and again, as BJ said, it's such a good like setting where she is when she's like, fuck off, Kyle. But also she brought food for Kyle too, right? It's like, for me, that tells me everything about her, that she's like the friend I want, where it's like, she's gonna tell you to fuck off, but also she's gonna take care of you. She's got like, she brought you something. And I don't know if y'all caught, I do love that she says, well, Maria is smarter than you, so I'm gonna go with what she says.
Oh yeah, Elena is such a girl's girl. Elena is the type of friend that I like to imagine I am, in that I am the fuck off friend. We actually, okay, on our podcast we call them suck my dick girls, like girls who will at some point get so mad that they'll just be like, suck my dick, fuck you, which I believe that is absolutely the kind of girl I am. But I'm also mom friend. I do take care of all of my friends. I do bring them food. I do help them when they're heartbroken. So maybe that's why I like Elena, because I'm projecting.
Listen, my straight best friend has gotten into the show, him and his girlfriend have been watching, and Elena, I think they're on episode 4. Elena has been both of their favorite character. Like, both of them are like, no, she's our favorite. Because they're like, are you having her on your podcast? I want to see that. And I'm like, all right, relax. Like, Connor, what do you think of Elena?
I love Elena. I love Elena's introduction, but I like love Elena so much later on. I'm sure we'll touch on this when we get to the like gala scene, when she pulls Scott aside and is like, you are torturing my best friend, and like he's too doe-eyed about you to do anything about it. I'm like, that is like the realest friend.
Yes, we're going to discuss
and
that.
It takes a best friend to be that person.
Yes, 100%. Rewatching it this time around, I was like, when Scott's like telling him about serial killers, I'm like, I kind of appreciate that Scott, for how hot he is, also doesn't really have a good game. Like,
yeah,
this is you flirting. You're talking about serial killers and how you're not a serial killer.
Yeah, no, I don't think he does this very much, and he does say that later in the episode that he's never brought anyone home. He doesn't do this, so he has no game. He has to rely on being hot, and luckily that works 99% of the time.
Yeah,
I was just about to say, I feel like sometimes the hottest people have the worst game.
Yeah,
because they don't need to like try.
Yeah.
They can just glide by on their like hotness.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's a hot guy that both me and my straight girl best friend Kim, who also co-hosts this podcast sometimes, have both hooked up with, and he had like the like most ridiculous abs and whatever, and both of us were like, yeah, it wasn't that good. Like, anyway, BJ, sorry I interrupted you.
Oh no, you're fine. I also love that presenting Scott as having no game is also done in a way that just shows that he's uncomfortable with flirting, and not that he's a himbo. Like, he is intelligent. He's not an airhead. He's just really out of practice.
Absolutely.
And Joe, you mentioned he says he's like never brought someone. Do we think he was a virgin, or just like
no?
Gone.
He's not a virgin. I just think he's obviously very afraid of his sexuality. He's very uncomfortable with it, which he's proven time and time again in this episode. And he probably just hardcore focuses on his job, which is easy to do when you're a world-class athlete, like especially one who plays a season. And they said in the show they only have 2 weeks off a year. So that's a lot of time for him to give himself the excuse of focusing on what he's working on, which is hockey. and probably jerking off.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between slanging and banging on the road and bringing someone back to the place where you lay your head at night.
That's true.
Agreed.
That's true.
Yeah, I was gonna say that as well. I feel like he's probably hooked up, but there's a difference bringing someone into your life.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I also agree that like I know like before like I came out, I used sport as like a crutch to hide my sexuality. Where I was like, oh, if I can just be the best at this sport, like that's fine. And like it is such a mood booster, like working out for me at least, that like no matter how bad I felt, as long as I like went to practice and like worked really hard there and got that like endorphin boost and stuff, it was fine. Like I can get by it. And so I feel like it is super easy to just like channel into like what your sport is as a way to like hide from all your other feelings.
Yeah. No, I not that I'm an athlete by any means, but my trainer and I joke that like I'm his like gym girlfriend. He's straight. I'm his gym girlfriend, and I joke that he's like my because like he's who I see. It's like him and teenagers that I teach are who I see the most. And he is an adult, and so I'm always like joking that he's the most contact I have with people that's not on a screen recording for my podcast. And yeah, like he and I get along so well, and like usually it's like we'll like vent to each other, but it's like when I'm leaving, I do feel better. I do like immediately feel better. Sometimes that only lasts, half the day or something, but it does help. Like, I feel like it's been, for me, I'm not anti-therapy. Everyone should go to therapy. It was a bigger help than my therapist when I first started, both at the same, like I started a new therapist and I started with him. And that ended up helping me more. Granted, her and I just conflicted, my therapist, so whatever. And I'm not anti-therapy, but yeah, I do think it's like a form of therapy, and the endorphins and sciencey shit. I want to talk about this when Kip says he takes the like leap of, yeah, well, with the beards, you all look like hot lumberjacks. I felt that the like, ooh, is this gonna land or is this gonna like fuck it all up? And he does think he fucked it all up because Scott is awkward and doesn't know how to react. But I felt like he does that hesitation really well of like, oh, well, I'm gonna go like fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I found that relatable. I don't know if any of y'all did.
It felt so real. Like I felt awkward and like tense and those like 2.5 seconds felt like a week before Scott said something. But it landed and it was such a relief. And I think we've all felt that when we were hitting on someone,
Okay, the look of, like, there's a lot of discussion about the micro expressions of all of the actors in this show, and I think this is Robbie GK's like best moment of micro expression because it is like a half second, but you see 45 emotions just wash over him in one eye reaction. It's really fantastic work.
Yeah, but then Scott invites him to his game. Worked out well. And I love Elena and Scott. Elena just like narrating when she's like, oh, this is a nice date. Oh, he's at work. I'm next to you. And when she's like, for Christ's sake, wave back to him because Kip is just like all awkward. You can tell she is the rock of this friend group. Like she's probably like that with all of them, right?
Yeah, definitely. The fact that he was not waving back. I wanted to reach through my screen and Scott had to go around 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, how awkward is that? Like, wave back. I'm gonna smack him across the face.
Like that's like just some of that like overthinking you have when like either you're in the closet or like someone you're interacting with is in the closet, and it's like waving. Like no one else in the team knows who those people are. They could be like a cousin from out of town, and you're waving at your cousin. But it's like when you're in that position, you're like, wait, do I wave back? Like, is that gonna like? Is that gonna expose him?
Yeah, that fear is real of like not knowing how to do because he's out, right? And so he's kind of like, well, I don't know how to act. It's hard to like act not out once you've been out, right? Like, I don't know that I would know how to do it. Not that I would do it well. A thing that I only noticed this time around, I don't know how the comments on a lot of these have been like, did Ian watch the show? Because the hockey shit I never retain. I did not remember that I remembered the Ilya and Scott interaction. I didn't realize when we panned out that Scott and Shane were fighting on the ice.
What?
I only this time realized it because it cuts to the TV screen.
It's been
You're
such like a
45
big
years old.
It's been that was like such a big meme. It was so funny. Like I love the memes where it's like Shane like trying to be like a big bad guy, but he's just like a cute little kitten, like
with
making
the
fun of
propeller
Scott.
hat.
Yes,
Giant
and then
lollipop.
Scott absolutely like annihilates him. It's It's so funny.
I think it's because like they're talking and then it cuts and then it's just like two guys fighting. So my brain was like, yeah, whatever. It's two guys fighting on the ice. I don't know. They're watching the game. Connor, can you tell I'm really good at following sports?
I'm basically on the same wavelength. Everyone makes fun of me because I'm like, yeah, go sports. They're like, you're an actual athlete. I'm like, doesn't mean I follow sports. I barely
This is,
follow my own sport.
this is validating hearing this from an actual athlete.
That's ridiculous. The Go Sports t-shirt at the Olympics, though.
Should have brought one. That would have been so good.
I mean, as we're recording this, I have a sticker on my cup that says "Drop gloves, punch Nazis" because I love that hockey is a self-regulating sport, and I love that you can give someone a receipt. It's the best.
Are you still like a hockey person? Like, do you still keep up with hockey?
Yeah, I do keep up with hockey. I am unfortunately cursed to be a Blackhawks fan because I'm from Chicago originally. If you couldn't hear by the way my A's sound.
I will tell you, the last time I went to a hockey game was in high school because my girlfriend's parents had season tickets for the Flyers games.
Ooh. Yeah. You can convert, BJ. You can convert. I was raised in a Rangers household. I converted to Devils. It's okay. You're allowed to do it.
See, but then I get cut out of the will because my dad would be like, I'm sorry, what?
That would be a hilarious prank.
Connor and I have nothing to add to this.
Professional sports hockey is my favorite one, which was the selling point for this show for me.
All right. I wanted to ask because I'm maybe wrong about this. Is Chip's dad supposed to be gay?
No, I think he's just lovely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's just a sweet man.
I think we're just so used to seeing the world's shittiest dads of gay kids that we don't process that he's, emotionally present.
Yeah. That's...
I think he's just like on the Mount Rushmore of like supportive parents of gay kids.
Yes.
Up there with like Elio's dad and Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah.
Because, someone who recently started watching it said they actually didn't like that because they felt it was too unrealistic. And I was like, but it's fiction. It's allowed to be like nice.
It's also not unrealistic. There's plenty of people who are supportive of their queer children. Like that's just because we didn't, and this conversation comes up a lot in this show for different reasons, but just because it wasn't your experience doesn't mean it's not someone else's experience. There's no one right way to be gay, there's no one right way to be queer, so it's not one universal experience. We've all had different lives and had different upbringings, and it's important for us as an audience to have that open mind.
Agreed completely. I'm very privileged to have parents that are insufferably supportive, is the way that I will say it, versus my wife's parents were completely no contact with. So that means that my parents have felt the need to go above and beyond to be the parent for my wife that she never got. They are very Una and David coded in that way.
I love that.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say I don't think it's unrealistic at all. It's like very much how my parents are. The unrealistic thing was how chill he is, in my opinion, about Kip just doing whatever he wants without telling him.
Yeah. My mom was the one that was like, surprisingly, my dad, like, as he got older, got worse, but he was like pretty, when I came out, even though he now was voted for Trump, he was pretty much like, okay. Like, he was like, that's fine. Like, didn't care. We all went on a family vacation with one of my boyfriends, and we all were drinking. Everyone but my dad was drinking because he was the designated driver. And like, we're drunk, and my mom says something like, and we had no idea, that you were gay. We were really surprised when you came out. And my dad said I wasn't. She was like, what? And he was like, I was not surprised. I thought he might be gay. And my like just a little tipsy mother was so mad at my dad. She was like, you didn't tell me that. And he was like, I don't know. It didn't come up. We go to this event where Kip is the waiter, and like you said, we get the dad just being like, oh, it's over here. Oh, what do you do? Okay. He's just very like sweet to Kip, who's having like a panic attack about finding his cater waiter suit. Also, the cater waiter thing in a city is very real. I feel like I was asked to do that a couple times for like a friend because they just hire anyone, right? Like anyone could be a cater waiter, doesn't matter. And I remember just like hearing horror stories and the pay was not that good and being like, I'm good, because I had like a group of friends that all did that. But yeah, I've known so many people that do that and also say how horrible it is. So yeah, I like that the woman is an asshole. who I thought was maybe supposed to be his mom, but it's not.
No.
His mom's dead.
Yeah,
Way to
Scott's
bring it
parents
up,
are
Ian.
dead.
Oh,
Way to bring it up.
I do love, though, that she makes the comment of like, oh, they're just all models now, because I don't live in New York, but I do live in LA, and it very much is a lot of people who are trying to be actors, and this is just the easiest job for them to hold. So it does make sense that a lot of them are really hot. So whenever people complain about Kip being like too hot to be a barista or to be a cater waiter, I'm like, no, this is real. This is very real.
Yeah, BJ, I saw that a lot, and I'm like, no, this is like very common. Like,
Yeah.
People
Hot
need to be
people can
watching
be
more Party
anything.
Down.
yes.
Yeah.
Joe, hot people can be whatever they want.
Hot people can be anything, even podcast hosts and guests.
Exactly.
Obviously, look at us.
I have seen people, which I don't disagree with, but I've been on dates where it's like, well, if we're going there, no one's having sex afterwards.
That's
but,
exactly
like,
what I was just about to say. I was like, taking him to a Mexican restaurant. Okay, well, what
but
are you thinking?
I feel like because Kip is so anxious about if Scott is gay
Right.
or whatever, that he's kind of probably like, well, we're not having sex. Like, I don't have to worry about until they like get to his house and he says, or I still think Kip is like unsure. Right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Kip seems a little bit in denial for some reason. Like, too good to be true situation.
I can see that though. I don't know. I get it.
I think that, yeah, I think given his fame, the fact that he looks like Francois Arnault,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I would probably need somebody to be like, nah, I'm trying to fuck you, like to my face before I'd be like, okay, cool. We're on the same page.
Yeah. Okay, cool. See, if you go into every situation in the default of everyone here is trying to fuck me, those situations don't come up as much. You just, it's about insane overconfidence.
Do we see the differences between Ian and Joe here?
Yeah, we're the
opposite. I am anxious about everything, and Joe is confident.
I don't care.
We get I pick or. We cut to them having sex. I thought it was an important detail that Scott is the one that wants, like, because I think Kip is still anxious, even though they did fuck. This confirms that Scott is somewhere on the queer spectrum, but Kip is still like, oh, I need to leave. And I think I would probably feel the same way. Like, well, we finished our sex. He definitely doesn't want me here more. Let me get out of here. And I like that Scott is the one that's like, well, do you want to stay? Do you want to come cuddle?
Yeah, he was literally like, move in. Like, it was so fast. Like, and the talk about the serial killer would still be on my mind. I'd be like, I don't know. Is the door locked? I'm a little scared. But I think if I were also working as a barista, trying to put myself through art school, super hot, famous and hot athlete Rich is asking me to stay in his penthouse apartment, and I'd be like, sure, fuck it. If I get killed, I get killed. But if I don't, I'm kind of winning,
Do it for the lore.
Literally.
Connor, would you say yes?
No. That would be, I'd be out the door so fast. Not even because I'm worried about their serial killer, but I'm like, if you're asking me to stay on the first date, run.
And
even just the night?
Maybe. I don't like sleeping with people. I don't like people touching me.
Understood.
So I really just don't like human contact at night.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So I'd be like, I'll stay, but we're gonna set down some rules. If you touch me in the night, I'm leaving.
There's a pillow between us all. Yeah.
I gotta say, the first time I slept with a guy that was like, no, this was great, but I don't want to sleep in bed with someone. I thought it was great. At first I was like a little like, ooh, is that him like trying to tell me he hates me? And then it was not. We're fine. And I was like, wait, this is actually really great. I don't have to be like sweaty in bed next to someone. Great. We can have sex and then we part ways and then we meet again later. It was nice, I gotta say.
When my wife and I first moved in, we had separate bedrooms, and people thought they were like, y'all are so bad at being lesbians. It's like, not only did we wait a whole year before we moved into each other, which is like 20 years in lesbian, but then we had different bedrooms. And I'm like, well, she was a bartender and I was a teacher. She was getting home when I was getting up. Like, no, we're not doing that.
That's beautiful. Every relationship is different. Beautiful.
Yeah. My ex that was a barista when we lived together, I would sometimes not sleep in bed just because I'm always super like up late and like 2 a.m. is normally my bedtime. and he would be getting up at 4, right? So it would be like, if I wake him up, he has 2 hours left. I'll just go back into our bed when he like leaves. But it was never usually, it was like I was sleeping for like 3 hours in another bed and then would go. But yeah, ever since that one guy, I'm like, that's my dream, is like what you said you have, BJ. Like we live together, but we have separate beds. Sometimes we can sleep together if we want, but like, So Joe, be prepared.
Be prepared for what?
For when we're living together, because that's what this is.
You and me? Oh my gosh, Ian, I'm not sure.
And
I'm
I
not
have
sure
an
if
allergy
it will
attack
work.
and die the first day because you have so many cats.
I think you're very emotional. I'm not sure if you would handle, if you could handle my my bluntness and my emotional distance.
Yeah. I was charmed by the like Scott picks him up and he's just like, I want to fuck you again. Like I found that like sweet.
Yeah. That was the hottest part, I think, of the episode for me, was when he picked him up. Like when Scott wakes up and Kip's making him that smoothie in the morning, that shitty, terrible smoothie. That in my head canon, it's terrible, and Scott's just drinking it because one, he's playing well, and two, he loves Kip. But yeah, him picking him up and being like, "Can I fuck you?" is really fucking hot. Like that man is about 465 pounds of pure muscle, and for Scott to like pick him up and be like, "Let me take you back and fuck you," that's hot. That's hot.
And he picks
sweet.
him up with ease. Like it doesn't look like a struggle.
No.
I can't pick up a human being like that. I don't know. And that is, spoiler, that is my hottest scene of the episode.
I also agree that's the hottest scene.
It's so hot.
I also
Connor,
like in that scene because don't they flip who's
They do, yeah.
bottoming from the I'm like
Kings.
We love some verse kings
Yes.
in this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ilya and Shane is so one-sided. And I feel like there's too many like all the straight people who are gonna watch this show. Like there's so many straight people who think you're either a top or you're a bottom.
Yeah.
There's like nothing else. I'm like, there's plenty of people that are cool with either one all the time. Plenty of relationships there that way.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is good. Straight people need to see this.
Absolutely. Open the schools. Open the schools.
Open the schools.
Only noticed that this time around that it is Kip who says, I want to fuck you. And I do, I like I think someone told me, BJ and Joe, I think you both read their book, right?
I read it a long time ago, so I don't remember anything.
Scott bottoms the first time in the book.
Yeah, I remember someone told me that.
You.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Eric, hi Eric, if you're listening, was like, oh, actually Scott's like the first bottom in the book, which I like.
That's not how it is in the show?
Scott tops the first time, and then Kip tops.
Oh.
Kip tops at the. I mean, we don't know. They could have been flip flopping that whole
Mix it up
first
in
night.
memory then.
True.
But Kip, we know tops when he gives him the blue socks with the bananas on it. The important news. This is called journalism, by the way. We are bringing you these stories that need to be told.
Connor, here's where I think you and I will agree. When Scott, this is the talk where I'm like, when Scott's like, can I get intense? I don't know. Like, yes, I would be like, but this guy's so hot. But I think I would be like, I don't know, man. Like, you're still closeted. This is like, I feel like I'm trapped in a tower. But also, I'm older.
Yeah, that would be
a
a run for the hills moment for me.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking about him saying that speech to me. My nipples got hard. So obviously, we are having different reactions to this man for some reason. I don't know.
I am unfortunately not on your side with this, Joe. That
It's
would
okay.
also like. I have just dated too many women where I am the first for them, and I'm like,
Maybe I just like a little
no.
danger. I don't know.
And
Maybe I like feeling like maybe he's going to choke me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We don't know these things. It's not something I've explored recently. I don't know.
BJ, that
Kip is a superstar for putting up with like
he is
not that like there's nothing wrong with being closeted. Like everyone has to go through their journey.
Yeah.
But it's very hard not to be out and like seeing someone who is closeted still. And Kip puts up with a lot with that. And like living in Utah, there's a lot of people who are like that. When I was dating in Utah, now I have a boyfriend. But when I was dating, there were so many people. I was like their first, or I became like their therapist on date one.
Mm.
Connor, I actually dated.
I don't have this.
I dated a guy from Utah, and he said the exact same thing, that it was like mostly closeted guys that he would date because there were so many closeted people.
Yeah.
And he was like, part of his family was part of one of the churches, which like I don't even remember which, where like it came out that the guy that was the head of the church was like sleeping with male sex workers, and like he had been like preaching why gayness was bad, and like he was like, oh yeah, my family's part of that church. I was like, oh shit. And I, as Joe mentioned, I'm very emotional, but like I don't know, when I'm dating someone or sleeping with someone, it's different than when I'm friends with them. And like I don't know. If a friend is like, "Oh, I really love you," right away as a friend, that's okay. But like someone I've just slept with a few times, I don't know. Yeah. I just and
Yeah,
also add in the closeted stuff. Like it would be. I would probably try to make it work, but it would not work for me.
yeah, it's definitely a bad situation, but I think these two characters probably also have like an emotional spark between them that we don't
Yeah.
feel, you know what I mean, for them. And I think I've been in situations where I felt such an immediate spark with someone that I probably would, be in Kip's situation, be like, yeah, period. I feel it too. And I mean, obviously it wears down on him because we see him throughout this episode become more and more isolated from his family, his friends, because he's dealing with this closeted man. And that becomes the difficulty in that sort of a situation.
Which then we go back to the bar, and Shauna and Maria are immediately like, "Oh, you have a boyfriend. Oh, you're seeing someone." And he's like, "Ah, no, what are you talking about? Oh, no, Scott's just a customer." And I love the cut to them having sex. Like right after that, we cut to them fucking.
Yeah.
Then we go to the smoothie shop. Scott comes in. Maria, our girl, is just like bowing out to let Kip come up front. So this made me think of this, which is not really that relevant, but when I worked at the Barnes & Noble on the Upper West Side, Tina Fey was a regular, and it was the joke that I always missed her. Like everyone had like helped her, everyone had dealt with her and said how nice she was. She would come in, and somehow I would miss her, and I like was a big 30 Rock girl. So, and I was a supervisor. So one day we're like at the registers, and I am again a supervisor. So someone walkies me and is like, "Tina Fey's coming down to registers. You're gonna miss her again." And so I said to everyone, I am ringing her up when she comes down. You all step back from your register so she doesn't go up to your goddamn register, and I can help her. And literally she came up and everyone just stepped back from their register, and she came directly to me. We said 3 fucking words to each other.
But you got your experience.
I
There
got
you
my
go.
experience. She did not want her receipt. That was
Oh,
it.
Queen, no paper waste for that icon.
You know?
Period, Tina.
That is real. On October 3rd, he asked me what day it was. It's October 3rd.
Yeah.
Which, she wrote.
Yeah.
That's
That was a great reference.
It was. Then we get the talk that Maria has with him, which I love, when he's like, which she's just like, "You think this is a secret?" And when he says, "He's straight, I think," and she's just like, "Girl, give me a break."
Please.
And I was thinking, do we think that was the end of that conversation, or do we think they talked about it? I was wondering that, like off screen, they talked about it.
I would think they talked about it. I mean, if I feel like there's no more sacred relationship than between a gay man and his female coworker. If any of you have ever been in any of those relationships before, those relationships are, one, very open, and two, very catty. So if there's one person, I'm gonna tell the circumference of everything in that home. I'm telling that young lady, Maria, girl, here are the photos. Here's what we did. This is the timeline of the situation. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. Like, I don't know. There's something about it when I'm at work. I want to tell you everything because I'm trying to avoid this email,
Yeah.
So
That's
I think
fair.
they probably yapped about it, especially in a place like a smoothie shop where clearly there's not many people coming in because he's sleeping on the job. So
That's true. BJ, what do you think?
Oh yeah, they're talking about it. They're getting into it deep because again, they got to kill time somehow through the rest of the day. And also, you need to have those conversations, especially if you think you're being slick and somebody that you trust is telling you you're not being slick. You need to know that to either step up your game to protect your closeted boyfriend or to stop looking like such a lovesick puppy 24/7.
That's also true. Connor?
Yeah, I think they definitely talked about it. I mean, she was immediately just like, come on. And as someone who also does not have any poker face whatsoever, yeah, they definitely talked about it because he's not hiding that well.
Mm-mm.
So we get the like Oh, I made food for you. Oh, you're not just a pretty face. Well, you are a pretty face. And then he's like looking up. Is it like they go to art gallery of the artist he's looking up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
BJ, I need your reading of the scenes. I feel like we're probably going to agree.
Of the scene, I think that this is whenever I talk about like wishing I had more money, it is specifically for moments like this, where it's like, I want more money to obviously give to like mutual aid and help support my friends. But also, if somebody I know is like, I really like this artist, that I could casually be like, you know, I could use some art for these walls. Let's go to the artist you
Yeah.
like and buy this expensive gallery piece. That is romance to me.
Hmm. Agreed.
But I'm curious what you think about like him freaking out immediately and then backing away.
It really breaks my heart. Like genuinely breaks my heart because I'm from the Midwest, which is such a hostile place to be if you are queer. I have seen that panic in people's eyes, and it is so real, and it is really, really hard to dismiss. It can be very frustrating, especially if you are so out and open to watch somebody have that fear. But I am extremely protective of people who are in the closet because I don't think it is 100% always restrictive. Sometimes it genuinely is it's a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
And I think Francois does such a beautiful job showing that. Like, first off, all of them on this show have the world's worst like incognito disguises, which is very
Yes.
funny to me. But that panic is so real, and it physically hurts to watch him do that.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like, it was like such a visceral scene because I feel like it's something that like most queer people can relate to, either like before they were out or even when you are already out. Like, just how conscious you have to be like about like just being in public, like holding your hand to your partner in public, think about like where are you? Is this a place that like is safe to do that? But I think that's like especially acute when you're not out and like every move you make, you're scrutinizing. And like they so easily could have come up with a cover story that like Kip is his like art buyer and
Right.
like
Mhm.
if they had put any thought into it, but it's just such a like a visceral reaction he has in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as Kip, I would have felt frustrated, but also completely understanding. It just shows that they're both in two very different places in their journey right now. And probably highlighted to Kip that maybe this isn't working, but I do love this man, so let's keep going. But you have to feel so bad for Scott because it, there's like an internal struggle there that's truly debilitating to him. Like he
Yeah.
can't even be in public and be like, "Oh, this is my cousin" or whatever. He feels a lot of pressure not from just himself, but from his team and his job because if you're paying attention to the hockey stuff, his team isn't doing so well, and he's only doing well when he's like, with Kip, and that's sort of the catalyst of the relationship. And so that's a lot of pressure for him, especially as someone who's like farther along in their career, and he's a captain of a major team, New York City. It's he's feeling pressures from all around. It's not just about him being closeted. He's struggling in all places, I think. And Kip handled it very well and was so sweet, but it had to have been a little bit of a wake up call for Kip as well, unfortunately.
That's where I was going, that I felt like it was like Kip kind of realizing while not acknowledging it that this might not work. I was like, am I a dickhead? Because that's what I kept thinking.
Oh no, like it's like the reason that this scene like kind of fucked me up as much as it did is because when I was having my like little heated rivalry moment with one of my competitors, there was a day during nationals where we were like, we're gonna go somewhere together. Like we're 19, but like we're gonna go somewhere together. And it's just gonna be us. But I was the captain of my team, she was the captain of her team, and it's like seeing us together is not unheard of, especially because it's nationals. But like I was way more comfortable with the possibility of people seeing us, and I was like, oh, I can handle this, no problem. She was not. And anytime we saw people in like warm up gear that was like the same colorway of like our team, she fucking freaked. And it hurt. It hurt real bad because it was the moment where I was like, this is never going to work. She's never going to be okay with this. And obviously we later get to know that Scott and Kip are going to be together. They are endgame. But in that moment, you do have that realization of like, it's never going to happen. He's never going to get over this. And like, that sucks.
Yeah. That's all I kept thinking for that scene is like, ooh, this isn't going to work for you, Kip, baby. Like, he's great. You love him and he's hot, but like, oof, because they are on such different spots in their coming out, in their lives, in like every single way. I want to talk about Elena talking to Scott. I had this discussion with one of my co-hosts, and he actually he felt like she was not minding her business. I feel like I've had the best friend who is like this, and that means so much having the best friend who will do this for you. This reminded me, my best friend Kim has been my ride or die since we were in 8th grade. And when my mom was dying, I called my ex-boyfriend because my mom loved him. Him and I hadn't been speaking. There was a whole bunch of like stupid drama that happened like years prior. We literally hadn't spoke, but my dad was like, do you want to call him to let him know about your mom? I know she'd want to see him. So I did. He came and he was very good. And that day I told him, I was like, oh, my best friend she's really happy you're here because she lived in Louisiana, so she could not be here in Jersey. And I was like, she's happy that like you're here to support me. And he was like, no, she's not. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, she called me on the way here to say, I'm not allowed to dip out of your life when your mom's dying. I was not allowed to just like come here, say goodbye to your mom and leave. Otherwise she'd kill me. And I was like, all right. And he was not happy about it, but I was like, all right, fuck yeah, Kim. Like, I appreciated it because like, she understood that I was like super vulnerable and that would like add to the like terribleness, right? To his credit, he did not. But like that's what that reminded me of. And so the first time I watched this scene, I cried. I think she is so fair in the way she presents this. And I really like that she ends it with like, and you do too. Like you deserve the sunshine too. She's not like being like, fuck you. She's just like, you both deserve to be happy. I don't like seeing anyone not happy.
Yeah, that is the true magic of that scene, because I think in lesser hands, that scene would just be the friend that's like, if you hurt my friend, I'll fucking cut you. But the fact that she is acknowledging and validating, hey, I know this is hard for you too, but you need to understand it's not just about you. It is about you, but it's not just about you. That is vital. That is why she is the realist.
Yeah.
I think especially someone like him who's like always in the spotlight. He's always the star.
I would assume
someone needs to say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I bet like people don't say shit like that to him, right? Like you said, he's in the spotlight. I don't think anyone's saying anything like that to him about anything, let alone, I mean, granted, of course not about coming out, but like, I think it's important to have someone who isn't afraid to talk to you like that. And the like detail that I love is when she's like, eyes over here, handsome. Don't look over at him. We're talking. Like, I love that she's like, no, we are engaging. This is us. Like, this is our talk. And she's like firm but fair. Like, she doesn't waver. She doesn't try to like sugarcoat it, but she's very fair about it, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah, she took charge of that situation. She's like, listen, because she sees what's happening with Kip, and and I think it is her place. It is her business. To your friend who said it wasn't her business, Kip is her business. He's her closest friend. It's just like anyone in your family. It's my business to take care of them. And if I see something happening, I need to step in. Like sometimes people don't know sometimes what they need. And I think as someone who loves you, it's my responsibility to at least guide you to what you need, and I think that's just what she was doing. And it worked out for the best. So God bless.
Yeah. True friendship is not having somebody who is just an agreeable friend. You need somebody who is going to tell you the hard things that are buried deep in the recesses of your brain. Sometimes you need to hear it come from someone else's voice other than your own. And she knows that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's special that she's not even doing that to Kip, and she's not pressuring Scott one way or the other. She's just being like, you don't have to come out. Obviously, that's super hard. Like, I'm not pressuring you to do that just for Kip, but you also can't string him along like that.
Exactly.
Because he's not gonna walk away.
Exactly.
Right, because there's no way this could work if it's just in this, like, only exists in the apartment. Like, that's not sustainable, right? Like it just in no way. And it's like you said, Connor, it's not like she's saying you have to come out. It's just, this is not, this can't work. There's like, he's miserable. He's not going to tell you he's miserable. And I think for me, that is a turning point, and which makes me cry in episode 5 when they turn back to that line. Like, for me, that's why that's so important and so emotional, because she delivers, like, she says what they need. And I do think Scott thinks about that. Like, I do think that's what helps us get to the point in episode 5.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, then we end on he's not going to his birthday party. He can't. And it does break my heart a little bit when we cut to like the window. We can see him with his dad and his friends, and Scott makes it there, but can't go inside. Like that really like breaks my heart, because he did want to try. Like that shows us that he really did want to, but like, you know, as with anything, when it's like in your head, you kind of can't help how your brain's reacting to a thing. So that's, for me, that's a part where I felt bad for everyone involved.
Agreed. Yeah, Scott obviously has some really bad anxiety and self-doubt there happening. He clearly, we know what he wants, and he knows what he wants. He just can't get himself to do it.
That scene makes me want to throw up. Like the over the shoulder shot just kills me, because you see, you know, we're getting the look inside of like what Scott could have, which is not just Kip, but also a community of people who know this about you, who love this about you, and who want you to be happy. And he's outside in the cold, and I can't.
Yeah.
Absolutely diabolical to go back to back, though, between we didn't even kiss and then sad ass Scott Hunter outside. Jacob Tierney, my therapist, will be hearing from you.
Truly, I've said this before, but like those weeks were the hardest weeks of my life. Like the week after episode 2 and episode 3, and then episode 4 too. But like it was just like truly devastating to me. I was like emotionally wrought, like truly going through a manic depressive episode because of this stupid show. I was just like, I felt like those things were happening to me, but they weren't, of course.
That's why I had to read the books. Like I had pancreatic cancer, and I was more stressed out between these 2 episodes than waiting for a phone call to be like, yeah, you're fine. Like, are you fucking kidding me? What did you put in this?
I think you posted that online, and I was like, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
I was invested.
Jeez.
Connor?
I was like so devastating, but I do think I'll jump ahead. I do think that is what like made the payoff at the end of episode 5 like so good.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not a very emotional person, and like I did shed a tear at the end of episode 5, and I did not do that in episode 6.
I mean, I do think episode 5 is like the emotional punch. All right. Well, before we do our closing ratings, we have a special interview.
Bianca Nugar, what's up, guys?
Hi. Thank you so much for wanting to do this. You have been a freaking delight to deal with, by the way. I've dealt with a lot of people booking for this, and you have been like so freaking sweet. It's been nice.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. This is my first ever interview / podcast, so a little nervy, but it's exciting.
I wasn't sure if you were I wasn't going to blow up your spot, but I'm very flattered to be your first interview.
Thank you.
Of course. So we've been asking everyone this. How did your audition go? Everything seems like it went pretty fast. How did your audition go, and like you find out you got the part?
Well, as like everybody can see, Maria's only there for a good time, not a long time. So, but like love. And I got the audition, I believe it was in March, and then I got the role April, and then we shot in May. So yeah, everything was really quick. It was a simple process. I honestly really didn't expect much to come out of my role personally. With the girl stuff, like I like when I started getting DMs with this girl, I was like, okay, like great. And then I guess I forgot, you know, because it's just like a one-liner. So yeah, it was great.
I saw there's like fan cams of you and stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, and like I think that I'm a meme now. So it's been great. thanks, Jacob. Like, really, like, this has been great for me.
I mean, it's such a great part to be to play in a queer show like this, because all you really need is a sassy one-liner and you're gonna have a bunch of gay fans. Like, we're gonna love you.
Yeah.
All you need to say is girl. And honestly, I'm Diva. She won the episode, honestly.
I mean, honestly, it's really not hard to just like watch two good-looking people just, like flirt with each other and
Yeah.
support that, and like simply what it was. And then, you know, obviously meeting Jacob the first day can be intimidating. To go on any set and meet a director, and Jacob is just so lovely. It made me made me feel so like comfortable, and I just had fun with it. I'm like watching these two hot guys flirt. Yeah, girl, I'm here for this, you know.
So kind of method acting then, because you were truly living and experiencing as you were acting.
Really living an experience.
And like, I do think it is like all you got to do is like be the like hot sassy one and gay men will stand. But also I do feel like there is something about like we've all worked like retail jobs or service jobs, and like the friendships you form with those people, I often think those are stronger friendships than what you form at like a office job or, you know, a more like professional job. And that read real to me. Like, oh, we're like work boyfriend and girlfriend. Like I always have like my work wife, my work husband, and it fully read that you two were like work BFFs.
Yeah, it's so relatable. It's so true. Like you said, I feel like this has been an experience in my life. Like, you know, just working the retail jobs, like sitting around all day and like someone hot comes in, especially if they're a famous hot hockey player, and then you find out that they're gay, like they're even more amazing. Like,
Yeah.
so like,
Oh my gosh. I feel like Maria and Kip were absolutely kikiing the moments got left, like for the rest of the day. No smoothies were made correctly for the rest of the day.
no.
When did you first realize the show was a hit?
Honestly, when I woke up to my Instagram having just notifications, phone's been a little bit dry for the past bit. So I woke up and I was like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And I'm like, damn, okay. I didn't know that the show had, I guess I didn't realize because I moved from Toronto to LA, and I missed the premiere over in, so I was like, okay, like when I get settled in here, I'll watch the show. And I hadn't gotten around to watching it yet. So I was like, oh my goodness, I guess that was like kind of my reminder, like, hey, it's out, watch it. And then I binge watch it in 2 days.
That's funny because we interviewed Benjamin, who played JJ, and he said the same thing. That's when he realized that he suddenly had a bunch of Instagram like notifications overnight.
Really quickly overnight, and then it just, yeah, it's great. The support is so appreciated and it feels so genuine. Honestly, I think people are just happy to see like these stories being told, especially in like such a male dominated, you know, sport. It's just really important, and I'm so happy that Jacob could tell this story. So yeah Canadian representation, very proud.
Shout out Canada.
Are you from Canada?
Yes, born and raised Canadian. Yeah.
Cool. I've been asking everyone this, and there's been funny answers, and I might have just blown up your spot with an answer because you have a bunch of TikTok fan cams. But what's like the wildest fan reaction you've seen, either to your character or to the show?
I mean, wild. I feel like people are just sending me a lot of love. Honestly, they were like, "You made me laugh." Like Maria was like that humor in like that episode 3, and a lot of people feel like they can just relate as like the girls supporting, you know, and it's just been love, just straight love, and it feels so. It's been lovely. Honestly, I'm very thankful for it.
You deserve all of the love. Honestly, you really do.
I'm like pinching myself. I'm like, am I really a part of this show? Like, this is so, you know, it's just so good. Like, you can't not.
Yeah, I think it was either Benjamin or Kate and Connors. One of them was like, well, I don't mean to sound, maybe it's not the biggest show. And we're like, no, it is one of the biggest shows. You're allowed to say that it's one of the biggest shows.
It is
right now.
I feel like no show has made a cultural impact. Like even Stranger Things this year, uh bigger than Heated Rivalry. Like everyone's talking about it. Like I remember I was on the moment that show premiered, I was watching the first two episodes. I was like on top of it. And I remember as the weeks were going on, I wasn't talking about it with my all my coworkers because I feel like at first it was like a lot of like the girls and the gays, and that's not really who I work with. And so I was kind of like emotionally reeling every day, truly going through it, because whatever was happening to these characters was truly affecting me because I have nothing else going on. It's just these people they were my children, and I was living that. And so and then as the weeks went on, I started to hear them talking about it like without me, and I'm like, I would run out of my desk, whatever work I was doing, push off to the side, and be like, "Are you guys talking about Heated Rivalry?" And they're yes, and it was crazy to see like the development over like the 5 weeks it was airing to becoming like something all the girls and gays were talking about to something everyone was talking about. It was such a cultural phenomenon.
I loved, yeah, it's so important. Like it's so great that these stories are being told, and I'm so happy and that I'm just happy that a Canadian, director
Yes.
put out there first, like something like this. But and it just was done in such a tasteful and just, I was sobbing. So I mean, just
Oh my
all
God.
of the it's just great. It was great.
Yeah. And we talk about this a lot, how like some people are like, oh, it's just porn. It's like, no, it's sexy, but it's still like a really well told story and like well shot and like.
It's such an incredibly emotional show. And I think maybe people had that argument the first episode and like maybe they didn't give it a chance, and that's kind of what they told themselves. But if you watch that show, the acting is incredible. The cinematography is incredible. The music is incredible. Like it's such a heartwarming, important story. And not that many queer stories get told in such a beautiful and like, heartwarming way. A lot of the times it's very stressful and very sad. And, and this just wasn't that. It was like a comforting, like warm cup of tea or something. Like, it really brought us a respite when we needed it in this world, which is crazy right now.
For sure. Very necessary. And yeah, like the way that it was done, I totally agree. It was very, like, it just felt very supportive. And like this, especially with the parents too, like those moments, like Kip's dad or Shane's mom, that moment, like, man, like, I don't want to go back. I'm like, I'm pulling at my heartstrings. Like, it's just those, to have that support within the show and not make it this whole thing, and just like, it's just life. We're just vibing and we're living, and this is real stories and real people. And like, this is what it is. Like, this should be the norm,
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of sad that this is like, it's only now in 2026 that these are the way that stories are being told in this way only now, but I'm happy it's being done. And yeah, and it just blows off and pops off like this as it should. So
yes.
And it's so nice for like the younger generations too, to like, even, I know Maria just says girl, but just seeing like a friend supporting, their friend, and being that person that can like bear witness, like, hey, this is actually happening to you. Your fairy tale love story is happening in real life. You're not, this is not a delusion. This is reality. Friend, and I'm seeing it for you, because sometimes I feel like, people can be in those too good to be true moments where it's like, is this really happening? And it's nice having a friend supporting and pushing you. And I think that's what the women in this show are all kind of doing. And they're
absolutely
doing things, and they're supporting, and they're, and it's just so lovely. And I've had a lot of like, I guess, fans messaging me saying like, thank you for being that friend to Kip and stuff. And I was like, that's just so beautiful.
But no, and that it's true. Like the women on the show, which I think often we also don't get in queer love stories, is showing how like having that support system is also really important. I think just like in general, but especially when you're like younger and closeted, and I don't know, that was such a lifeline for me. I worked at Barnes and Noble like when I was like that age in my 20s, and yeah, I had so many people that were so supportive of me. Like I had like, it'd be like, oh, my work BFF is this 19-year-old like straight girl, and then this like 55-year-old mom who's like super cool. Like And there's like I don't know, I really appreciated the show. All of y'all I thought felt real and were just supportive and nice to your friends, which is nice.
100%. I think everybody, yeah, from the cast that I met, everybody, they were just genuinely cool people. It made it just, I only worked there on set for 2 days, so it was pretty quick, but I feel like I formed some great bonds with the people that I met. And just I think that's how a great show or anything great is made. Just like good people coming together and doing the thing that they need to do. And it just results in, and people can do that.
Yeah. What are some like LGBT, if there are any LGBT like Q movies or shows or books that like have like inspired you or resonated with you? Have there been any that you've like consumed?
Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm Canadian, and I always kind of looked up to Shay Mitchell, and her and I share. Her previous manager is actually my current manager. I had the same acting coach as her, and I loved Pretty Little Liars growing up. So seeing her like in a gay role and just like for crazy amount of seasons, like that was something like I'd love to do that, and I still would. So putting that up.
Manifesting.
God, there were a lot of seasons of that show, weren't there?
I don't remember. It's been quite a few years, but yeah, just following like the trajectory of like her career through and going through my career and like happening to like be signed to her previous manager. Like I didn't even go out and search for that. So I would say that was something that had inspired me from younger. And
that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to be a part of this show, and hopefully more queer roles in the future. Yeah.
I hope this leads to nothing but great things for you because you're great. What's something you would have liked to have done with your character or to do with your character if you were in season 2 at all?
Well, I saw a comment saying that there should be a love story between me and Elena, which is funny. A lot of people have been mixing us up. I guess that would be the wildest thing from your previous question, that people, like a lot of people have been confusing Elena and I as the same person, which is understandable since, Jacob actually told me we were supposed to, they might have, Maria was not supposed to exist at one point. They were just going to come into one character, but I think he fought for my character, which is so nice because, the girl needs here. But yeah, I would love to fall in love if I maybe maybe with Elena. So
Bianca, thank you so much for your time. It was lovely speaking to you. Let everyone know where they can find you online.
You can find me on Instagram at Bianca Nugara. Thank you so much, Ian and Joe, for having me for my first interview. I feel like I don't even know what I've said. I've like blacked out for half of it, but I'm half a girl's girl. And it was so lovely talking to you both. Thank you for making me feel comfortable.
Thank you for doing this.
Of course.
I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in many other things and standing.
So much.
All right. Now, our closing statements. Ally of the week. I'm going to go first because I cheated. I have 2. Elena and then Maria. They're the two standout allies of the week for me. Joe?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. How can you pick between these two icons? They're both supporting him in the same way, but in a different capacity. Can we just say Kip's whole support system have been really helping. He has a great support system, which I don't think if Kip were isolated, he would have made it through this situation with, because he's so lucky to have his father and his friends, but especially Maria and Elena, because they're the only ones who know about the truth of this situation. And they were amazing support systems for him.
Yeah. BJ?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously the support system, but I will give a small, subtle shout out to whoever the vendor was selling those socks, because you need those socks to put him on the pathway to winning, to put him on the pathway to winning the Stanley Cup or whatever the cup's name is in this MLH not real world. So shout out to him, unintentional ally. You don't know what kind of impact you're going to have on people when you're selling shit on the street.
I love that. That's perfect.
Connor?
Debate between Elena and Kip's father.
Fair.
I'm just gonna go with Elena. I think I have to pick Elena.
Yeah,
That's fair.
She really is such an MVP of this episode.
Yeah. Favorite scene, Joe?
I don't know. I think my favorite scene is probably just them flirting in the smoothie shop. I think that like nervousness, that anxiety is so real and it's so exciting and it's like heart fluttering. And I think that's the most fun I had during this episode was like during those flirtations, like will they, won't they, even though I know they will. But there's something just so exciting about that like initial spark you have with someone that I just really liked that.
Yeah. Connor.
So many, but I think I'm gonna pick the art galleries.
Okay.
It's just like, I don't know. I like the ones that like really almost like hurt. They're just so relatable. I feel like so many people have like thought that they're in their lives, like they thought they're ready to take this step, and then they like get in that situation and freak out.
Yeah.
That's fair. BJ?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the moment when Scott jumps the couch to kiss Kip because I'm a big bitch and my wife is 6'3", so we are both very large people in different ways, and we've never been able to afford furniture that I could trust would like hold our weight if we did something like that. So watching him effortlessly, just like I'm trusting the furniture is going to allow me to be romantic like this, I'm so into. I think it is so adorable.
Also, it's rich people furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine. They're going to be okay.
My couch in New York broke because my roommate slept on it too much and he was a twink. Like, my favorite scene was Elena's dance with Scott, hands down. It's one of my favorite scenes of the series. Hottest scene, I'll go first. It's a tie between them naked in the red light. I think bathed in the red light is like very sexy. But also, as we mentioned earlier, when he just like effortlessly picks Kip up, that is hot. Joe?
Yeah, no, same. It's him picking up Kip and saying, "Can I fuck you?" Yeah, I mean, it's so hot. It's just like it's so sweet and hot. And I think when it's also because he's like he feels so emotionally overwhelmed that Kip is like up and making him food that he like has to show his affection through sex. So that's very hot and sexy. And I'm always a little bit more turned on, I guess, when there is like an emotion behind sex. Like that's just sexy. Like you have those feelings for me and want to be with me because of that. And I think that's like such a great example of it.
Connor?
I also agree that like picking him up and like I said earlier, love at first came. And it's like the first like I don't know equal. Not there's an unequal power dynamic in relationships, but like it feels very equal in their relationship.
All right.
Agreed.
BJ?
So sound goes a long way for me. And so this is going to be so specific. But after Kip gives him the socks for the first time as the gift, they have this moment where he also is like, can I fuck you? And before they hit the bed, you can hear the sound of them breathing each other in as they kiss. And it is so primal and so carnal where you're like, oh, they're going to break that fucking bed. I love this. That is hot.
That's fair. What grade do we give this episode? Joe, let's start with you.
I'm gonna give it. I think they had a lot to do in a very short amount of time. I'm gonna give it a B+.
Okay, BJ.
Yeah, I'm also giving this one a B+. Really, really love this episode, and what it lays down is so important.
Connor.
Great.
I think this would be my favorite episode, or like my second favorite. But I'll give it an A-.
Okay. No, I mean, it's not that like I dislike it. It's just that for me, episode 5 and 6 are like the A, and then this would be like the B+.
Episode 5 is probably that's the one I'm debating between.
Yeah, episode 5 is like one of my favorite episodes of television in the recent years.
Same.
So yeah, B+. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for listening. This was a fun conversation. I'm enjoying covering this show. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on all social media platforms at SlayerFestX98. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can watch our recordings, because all of them are video recordings now, on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe, give us a good rating, helps get the podcast out there. We have a Patreon. We're going through every episode of Buffy as it turns 25. We're on season 5 right now. In February, which I think is when this episode will be out, we have our first book club, which is going to be Heated Rivalry. I've been listening to it. We'll be talking about it at the end of the month in a group Zoom. If you want to follow me on my personal, I am at ENXCarlos everywhere. Joe, where can everyone find you?
I'm at Joe Organa on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch.
And BJ, where can everyone find you and your podcast?
I am on all forms of social media at BJ Coangelo. I write over at Film and Fangoria Magazine, and my podcast, This Ends at Prom, is available wherever you get your podcasts. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/This Ends at Prom.
And Connor.
You can follow me on Instagram at connor.mm. And then I also just started a TikTok, which is Connor_mm, because I couldn't get the dot.
All right. All right, everyone. We will see you next time. Bye.